Karen Perez was just a 15-year-old girl who dreamed of becoming a doctor. She was a dedicated student and a model daughter, loved and supported by her family. But on May 27, 2016, Karen disappeared after leaving school. 3 days later, her body was found showing clear signs of violence and forced assault. Karen Perez was born on December 3, 2000 in Houston, the most populous city in Texas, USA. The daughter of Mexican immigrants, Karen was the second child in a close-knit family. Her younger sister looked up to her and always said she wanted to be like her. Her parents, whose names are not mentioned in the sources, worked hard to support the family. Karen's mother said she was her pride, describing Karen as responsible and helpful with her siblings. Karen grew up in South Houston, a suburb known for its large Mexican immigrant community. The Perez family lived in a middle-class neighborhood considered relatively safe. Karen was friends with nearly every kid and teen on her street, and many said she was a cool girl. Since she was little, she dreamed of becoming a doctor, and her favorite subject in school was biology. Her teachers at South Houston High School said she was a curious student, always asking questions and showing genuine interest in learning. Her room was decorated with posters of famous medical schools and inspirational quotes to keep her focused on her dream. Besides studying, Karen had a passion for art and music. She loved drawing and painting, and her little artworks decorated the walls of her home. Latin American music, especially reggaeton, played a big role in her life, connecting her to her Mexican roots and family memories. Friends described her as great company. Karen was also a devoted sister. She helped her siblings with homework, cooked dinner when her parents were running late, and made a point of supporting the family whenever needed. Her mother especially saw Karen as a pillar during tough times, someone who brought balance to the family. At school, Karen took part in educational programs and earned respect for her dedication, even from classmates she wasn't close to. In her personal life, Karen started dating Jesus Campos Jr., a 15-year-old classmate also of Mexican descent. At first, the relationship seemed happy. Jesus was described as affectionate, often walking Karen home after school. He brought snacks and small gifts like charms and toys. He seemed head over heels and eager to please her. They strolled together in the park and planned to celebrate graduation someday. The shared Mexican immigrant background of their families seemed to strengthen their bond. But as we'll see, there were signs their relationship wasn't as perfect as it looked. May 27, 2016 seemed like any other day for Karen Perez. It was a Friday. Karen, 15 at the time, woke up, got ready for school, and said goodbye to her mother with a smile, promising not to be late after class. Her dad joked, reminding her future doctors don't show up late to school, and Karen smiled back. She was in a good mood, as usual, telling her younger siblings to finish their homework. Karen went to school like any other day, attending all her classes as normal. After school, friends saw her leave, the last confirmed sighting of Karen that day. Reports say Karen met up with her boyfriend, Jesus Campos, after classes as usual. He later told police they spent some time together before parting ways, and Karen supposedly went home. But she never made it. When Karen didn't show up for dinner, her parents started to worry. She was known for being responsible and always letting them know if she'd be late. Her mother tried calling Karen's phone, but it went straight to voicemail, unusual for her. Desperate, she reached out to Karen's friends, but no one knew where she was. The last info was that Karen left school as usual. The family's anxiety grew by the hour, and they reported her missing to the police that same night. Once the news spread, people who knew the family rallied to help find her. Friends, neighbors, classmates handed out flyers with Karen's photo, asking for any info. Social media, especially Facebook, flooded with posts using #FindKarenPerez, pleading for help. The whole city seemed united, hoping to find her alive. Meanwhile, police started investigating, collecting recent photos from the family and interviewing people close to her. Friends were interviewed first, then her boyfriend, Jesus Campos Jr. He told police he met Karen after school, spent some time with her, then they parted ways. He didn't know where she went. At first, his statement seemed believable, but police noticed small inconsistencies that raised red flags. Meanwhile, Karen's family faced a tormenting wait, with her mother holding on to hope she'd come home. 3 days after Karen disappeared on May 30, 2016, the search took a tragic turn. A volunteer searching the city made a shocking discovery in an abandoned apartment complex on South Houston's outskirts. The building, old with crumbling walls and broken windows, was known as a hangout for teens and a shelter for the homeless. The volunteer alerted police after spotting something unusual in a first-floor apartment. Houston police responded fast and secured the complex. Inside a unit's kitchen, under a rusty sink, detectives found a devastating sight: the body of a young girl wrapped in a cloth. The victim matched Karen Perez's description, though formal ID was confirmed by family shortly after. The body showed signs it had been hastily hidden, and the scene suggested a struggle. Objects scattered on the floor, marks on the walls. The utility room reeked, indicating the body had been there for days. Forensics noted the floor under the sink was wet, suggesting some liquid, possibly used to clean evidence. Among the items found was a damaged cell phone believed to belong to Karen, and a small personal object whose nature wasn't specified in the sources. Those items were immediately seized for forensic analysis, hoping the phone held crucial clues about Karen's last hours. News of the discovery spread fast through South Houston, leaving the community in shock. Karen's family, still waiting for news, now faced the heartbreaking possibility that their daughter was dead. The wait for formal identification was agonizing for her parents, who clung to hope it wasn't her. Meanwhile, police began reviewing security cameras near the complex, hoping to identify who had been there in the days before. With Karen's body found, Houston police ramped up the investigation, considering several theories. At first, detectives explored the idea Karen was a victim of an opportunistic criminal, since the abandoned complex was frequented by homeless people, drug users, and teens. The area had a reputation for crime, including robberies, prompting detectives to interview locals and homeless people who hung around. But these interviews yielded no solid leads. Many denied seeing Karen or entering the apartment. Another theory involved a serial offender, as cases of missing young women had been reported in South Texas in recent years. Still, the circumstances of Karen's death, including the attempt to hide the body, pointed to a more personal crime. Detectives started focusing on Karen's inner circle, since crimes like this often involve someone she knew. That's when Jesus Campos Jr., Karen's boyfriend, became the prime suspect. Jesus, also 15 at the time, was one of the first questioned. He was the last person known to have seen Karen alive. At first, he said he met Karen after school, spent some time with her, then they parted ways, with Karen supposedly heading home. But detectives spotted inconsistencies in his statement. He first said he went home after their meeting, then later claimed he visited a friend, something all the friends he named denied. Security cameras near the apartment complex showed a young figure resembling Jesus entering the building on the night of May 27th, though the image wasn't clear enough for a definite ID. Karen's friends provided key information. Some reported Karen felt uncomfortable with Jesus' controlling behavior. Though the relationship seemed happy at first, Karen mentioned Jesus was overly jealous, checking her messages and demanding to know who she was with. A friend recalled Karen saying her boyfriend was always watching her and that sometimes she was afraid of him. These reports suggested the relationship was turning toxic, with Jesus trying to limit Karen's independence. The investigation's breakthrough came with the analysis of Karen's phone found at the crime scene. Though damaged, forensic experts recovered deleted data, including texts and a disturbing video that became the case's central evidence. The video, just a few minutes long, showed Karen sitting on the floor of the abandoned apartment, visibly scared and crying. A threatening voice in the background said she had brought it on herself and deserved what was happening. Karen could be heard begging, her last words saying she didn't want to die. The video also contained proof Karen was sexually assaulted, later confirmed by the autopsy. The autopsy also confirmed Karen was severely beaten and then suffocated to her last breath. Besides the video, experts recovered text messages between Karen and Jesus. The day before her disappearance, Jesus sent demanding messages telling Karen to meet him, including one saying, "You come, or I'll come find you." Another threatening message sent on May 26 said, "You'll regret it if you don't come." These messages, combined with the video, provided irrefutable evidence that Jesus was directly involved in the crime. Forensics even confirmed the voice in the footage was Jesus Campos. Based on the phone evidence, Houston police secured an arrest warrant for Jesus Campos Jr. He was arrested on June 1, 2016 at his parents' home without resistance. During questioning, Jesus claimed innocence and denied involvement. Asked about the video found on Karen's phone, he said he didn't know anything about it. However, as mentioned, forensic analysis confirmed the voice was his, and the threatening messages were sent from Jesus' own phone. The news that Jesus Campos Jr., the victim's boyfriend, was responsible shook not only Karen's family but also her friends and acquaintances. Both the victim and the perpetrator were just 15, involved in what seemed like an innocent teenage relationship. Neither family nor friends could imagine it would end this way. With all the evidence against Jesus Campos, he remained in custody and was formally charged with the crime against Karen Perez. The trial began months after his arrest in 2018, drawing major media and South Houston community attention. He faced first-degree murder and other charges, with the prosecution building a strong case based on the video, text messages, and forensic evidence. The courtroom was packed with Karen's family, friends, and locals following every detail. The prosecution opened with a powerful statement, outlining how what started as a happy relationship between Karen and Jesus turned toxic, marked by jealousy and controlling behavior. The video was shown in court, triggering intense emotional reactions from jurors and attendees. Karen's last words, "I don't want to die," echoed in the room, highlighting the crime's brutality. The prosecution also presented text messages, friends' testimonies about Jesus' behavior, and forensic analysis confirming his voice on the video. The autopsy revealed Karen died from suffocation, with signs of struggle and forced assault. Security cameras, while not clearly identifying Jesus, showed a figure matching his description entering the apartment the night of the crime. The prosecution argued the crime was premeditated, driven by Jesus' jealousy and inability to accept Karen having her own friends or choices. The defense tried to discredit the evidence, claiming the video could be manipulated and the text didn't prove his presence at the scene. They suggested a third party might be involved but offered no concrete proof. Jesus' voice on the video and the messages from his phone made the defense's arguments weak. After 6 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with the verdict. Jesus Campos Jr. was found guilty of first-degree murder. In November 2018, the judge sentenced Jesus Campos Jr. to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years. He was 18 at sentencing and remained still upon hearing the verdict, only stating afterward that he disagreed with the decision. His lawyers promised to appeal, but the strength of the evidence made the conviction solid. After sentencing, Karen's family issued a statement expressing relief over the verdict, but stressing that nothing would bring Karen back. Karen's mother said in an interview she was still haunted by the video's images and the crime's brutality. The South Houston community was deeply affected. Vigils and memorials were held in Karen's honor. South Houston High School, where she studied, paid tribute, describing her as a brilliant student and inspiration. Karen Perez's funeral took place on June 6, 2016, at Forest Park Lawndale Funeral Home. The service drew many from the community, friends, classmates, family, and South Houston residents, who tearfully said their goodbyes to Karen Perez. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.